All right, so I'm excited to share with you that I have a formula for self-realization. And I'm not talking about having a mystical experience. I'm not talking about going out of body. I'm not talking about any kind of transcendent experience, although I recommend meditation and any tool that has occurred to you to access that dimension of reality. My formula for self-realization is about bringing that all the way home into your physical life. And so that means bringing it into all the corners of your psyche so that you don't have to work so hard or really try at all to just be in your natural state of joy once you see clearly all the ways that you avoid reality. So the formula is: step one, acknowledge that you're an escape artist and acknowledge all the ways that you escape reality. And that is the hardest thing to see. Well, with a caveat, right? So it really isn't the hardest thing to see if you meditate and if you know yourself beyond your ego. In other words, if you are not identified with the mind and if you have memorized and familiarized yourself with the energy of love and infinite potential and the field and oneness, anything that is not that will be very, very obvious to you. But the key is that because our childhood conditioning is so familiar to us, most of our work has to be in making conscious contact with the light. Whether it's like when we take a walk, we listen to music and we feel open and receptive and we feel love. Whether it's devotional energy, whether it's chanting, whether it's meditation, because otherwise it's true, you can't see yourself. But I guarantee you that you can see all of the things that I'm going to describe once you put your emphasis on the light work, which I'll release like a shorter video maybe this evening that I recorded last night about just emphasizing that point a little bit more. So step one is becoming aware that you escape and becoming aware of all the ways that you do escape. And today I'm going to introduce you to some of the ways that we control our environment that may not be very obvious to us because they're so familiar to us. Step two is, once you see how you're avoiding, what you're really avoiding is feeling something. And what's under that is you're avoiding a perception of yourself that hurts. And what's under that is that you're avoiding acknowledging that part of you feels separate from life, but that is the seed. That is the bottom of the trend. That's the bottom of the patterns, right? The separate self who is terrified, petrified, and helpless creates strategies, has a belief, right? Has emotional reactions, creates strategies to manipulate the environment. And so once you can follow the trail down to the seed dissolves back into oneness. The seed remembers who it is. So I talk a lot about that. That's really my message. And I want to get better at teaching it, and I want to get better at explaining each layer. So the second layer is feeling, and I acknowledge that when you really get over the fear of feeling, you'll have to accept that part of feeling your emotions will have physiological aspects to it, right? It might distort your vision, make your heart beat faster, might give you stomach pain, head pain, might make you feel disoriented because that's how you felt as a child, right? You were rejected and whoa, maybe that rocked your world and it literally felt like this. And so when you just see that and you say, okay, I kind of know that what I can expect might be some physiological sensation. Okay, just accept that. Go into it. Once you go into it, right, whether it's spinning, whether it's fog, whether it's confusion, you will have access to what is underneath it, which is, what do I believe about myself? Like, believe it or not, being in a fog and being in a spin is actually a way that we control others. It's not a helpless victim thing. It's a strategy that we use unconsciously to control our environment. So step 3, right? So acknowledge you're an escape artist, acknowledge all the ways, which today I'm going to begin to unpack that. Learn how to feel your feelings, get over the fear of feeling. What is the belief about myself, the specific iteration, right? We hear about unworthiness, we hear about general things, but we have a specific iteration that we have identified with. So maybe instead of unworthiness, it's like, I'm a worthless piece of shit. Or maybe I'm evil because I'm a woman. Or maybe it's, I will never heal because I'm a disgusting sinner. Believe it or not, those things are in there. And I'm going to teach you how to have access to them. And then underneath that is just a realization that, well, wait a minute, all of those layers stemmed from a part of me that doesn't know that it's God. A part of me that feels itself to be separate and at the mercy of its environment and completely powerless. But you can't read about this. You can't just accept what I'm saying. You have to, in real time, follow the trail. Follow the trail. So we are escape artists. Let's talk about step 1. There's something called the Enneagram, which somebody told me about last year, and a woman who I respect very much, who knows very much about it, explained to me that your number on the Enneagram is actually might be some of your gifts, but it's mostly the way that you predominantly control. So I'm a 4 on the Enneagram, which is the actress, right? So I began to notice how when I would come into a situation, any ways that I would alter myself, even the way I would walk away from someone, I would notice very keenly any kind of act I was putting on, any kind of image I was trying to impose on someone, like so that they would perceive me a certain way. I was very keen. Once I heard that, I was like, ooh, okay, so let's see every single way that I act. Let's see if I don't believe that I can have something I want, for example. Am I going to turn on a little Bambi act, in front of somebody that I believe could give me what I want? That's a good awareness to have. Like, is there somebody that you rely on? And is there some way that you alter yourself in order to maintain that source of whatever, love, income, whatever it is, right? And this message may not resonate with everybody. This is like, I am a very hardcore, like for me, freedom is everything. And I want the total freedom. Total freedom meaning I want to see every single part of me that alters or censors reality, every part of me that's manipulating reality, and I want to bring it remembrance. I want to bring it self-realization, because when you do that, you no longer have to try really to do spiritual practices, or because all of the pieces that are pulling you out of the present moment, they have been found and they have been seen and they have been reabsorbed into your heart, and they no longer behave the way that they were behaving, because in a way they were just trying to get your attention. So that might be a good place to start for you to look. What's your number on the Enneagram, right? I know one of the numbers, maybe it's 8, or, people who had really dangerous mothers, for example. Maybe your mother beat you. Maybe you learned at a very deep level that being feminine is dangerous, okay? And so to compensate, you became very male. Whether you're a man or a woman, we both have both energies, that should be in balance. But maybe you started compensating. Well, maybe deep inside you are deeply threatened by feminine energy, so you turn up your male energy to control, right? And the way that would look in a behavior would be people that try to control the direction of everything, right? I used to have friends, like during my bachelorette party, I had a friend who needed to be the leader, or if she wasn't, she felt deeply agitated, right? So look at your numbers on the Enneagram. That's one of your predominant points of control and manipulation. So on the light side, right, I'm the actress. Like I can channel, when I tune into something, like I take on its qualities, right? When I see my dog, I start tuning into her and I start playing with her as if I'm a dog, like, and it's fun. And it's useful because I'm not a professional actress, but I can, my ability to empty myself helps me connect to things that I want to connect to easily. So there's a light side and a shadow side to everything, but the ways that, so in order to apply this formula, ask yourself, and I will make a series of videos just on step 1. I will make a series of videos on every step, because I realize, like, it can be hard to see these things. And like I said, the most important thing for you to be able to do this work that I'm about to unpack with you is that you need to, most of your effort needs to be on, tuning into your higher self, meditating in the void, listening to silence, channeling the angels, listening to devotional music. There's a song called Antanasifity, A-N-T space N-A space S-I-F-T-E-E. It's the most beautiful song I have ever, it's one of the most beautiful songs I have ever heard. It's by White Sun, and it just keeps me open. It resonates with heart energy, and I bathe in heart energy because I want love more than anything else in the world, love and freedom, and I want to bring that to every part of myself. So as I am sharing this with you, more will come to me, and I will share with you whatever comes to me in a series. But so how can it look? How can the more subtle manipulations look? Well, one of them, like I said, part of the actress is being seductive. And being seductive is not necessarily, wearing what people might call a provocative outfit. It might not be, it's more subtle than that. It's like I'm sharing with you my shadow. Like, I would be able to read, like, the energy of a man or anybody. It doesn't have to be a seduction. Could be anytime you're trying to get something that you don't believe deep inside you have the resources to get for yourself. So you start behaving in a way to get it from somewhere else. So a seduction could be acting innocent, right? It could be like laughing all the time. If you're with someone who just loves that energy of laughter. And well, again, while you may not understand you're doing this consciously, you might not see this at first. But like I said, the more you meditate in love, the more you will see how you are not moving from love and empowerment. Okay? So seduction can be acting confused. Seduction can be a deer in headlights, and because part of you knows that you're dealing with someone with a hero complex, so they're going to come and save you if you're stuck, right? If you know yourself, right? This is the goal. We want to know ourselves so well so that we are free. And you notice, you just start changing a little in the presence of someone, and it's always related to you don't believe you can have what you want. You don't know what you are. That's what's underneath that. You don't believe that you can have the life that you want, that you have your needs met. So you start, your shadow energies, right, start putting their tentacles out and playing with people. This is important, okay? So the more subtle ways, like I said, a Bambi, like a deer in headlights, right? Oh, I honestly don't know what to do. A seduction could be acting doubtful and confused, right? Having a friend that you ask a million questions to, right? You're always asking, always asking, always asking, always asking. It's like you're using their energy to make you feel stable. But if you think about the abuser aspect of that, right? Because I don't want to just put the idea out there that everything is just this innocent thing that we have no idea we're doing. We do on some level know that we're being manipulative, and you swallow that pill for yourself and you contemplate that. On some level, you always know when you're not in alignment with love and with personal empowerment. Like, you know it on some level, you just don't want to see it because you believe your strategy will work better for you than finally acknowledging the part of you that doesn't feel empowered. So, right, asking people questions, how is that abusive to others? Well, basically you're using them, right? You're using them as a crutch. You're not present with them. You're not listening. You're not in the mode of listening. You're not really sharing or connecting. You're getting something from them. Spinning is another one that's, believe it or not, a way that we control our environment. Spinning, overwhelm. What you're really saying is, I'm so overwhelmed and so I can't even feel my feelings. Like, there's so much coming in, but underneath that is a belief that I have no ability to be stable, right? So how do we control our environment? How do we manipulate reality? By being in a spin. Well, think about it. When you're in a spin and you're in a whirlpool of chaos, right? You suck people into your chaos. You suck people in. And so they have to either feel that, unless they're really conscious and they have the ability to disengage from you, or if they have a hero complex, they have to save you, right? You're playing these shadow games with people. And it's like, let me just pause by saying, I've said in another video that we have to have a balance between love and, in Kabbalah, what is called severity, right? Gevura and chesed. Severity, like having a sharp sword, like a wand of light, to be able to be pointed and to be able to be real with yourself. Balance with unconditional love and allowing, right? There's a balance, and you have to find the balance here. I'm speaking from kind of the Joan of Arc place right now, but I want to say, do all of this with love, right? For me, for example, the actress thing, at least in this life, like, I was exposed to pedophilia as a child, and because I had no ability to leave that situation, what took over was like this dominatrix energy. I saw this visually, right, when I looked in one of my chakras. And basically I saw this dominatrix smoking a cigarette, pacing around the room around this little child who was in a bathtub, frozen. Her energy was frozen. So basically what that was saying was, the dominatrix came in because this child was actually powerless. But the thing is, even though in that moment, right, your innocence got corrupted and something else took its place, even though that was kind of something that happened to you, as we get older and we start to grow up and we start to have a sense of like what is love and what is fear, and we have the ability to see that this is not the light. And so I want to share this with you so that you can become aware of how you manipulate and avoid reality. Because really, like in my case, if I stayed in the dominatrix energy of playing with people or teasing people or putting on an act in order to get what I want, what I would be avoiding would be part of me that believes that she is completely frozen in that bathtub. I'm frozen. I have no ability to go where I want to go, be where I want to be who I am, and feel safe, and I will never be cared for. Like, part of me feels that way. So if I didn't see the way that it was playing out, I wouldn't have access to the little girl. And I wouldn't be able to bring her back to life by putting seeds of light in her crown and in her heart and saying, baby, you are God, right? You are God. There's no need. There's no need to play games. There's no need to manipulate, okay? I'm almost crying because I feel so passionate about this. So the ways that we control our environment, right? Confusion, spinning, right? Like I was saying, that chaos whirlpool that you might get stuck in, the way to get yourself out of that is to first not be afraid, not be overwhelmed by the sensation. It might be very physiological for you. Realize that you're safe. Feel your central channel and put an anchor in your root chakra and ground yourself in that whirlpool and say, no, I'm stable here. I'm stable here. And underneath that, it's like, wait a minute. If part of me believed I was completely at the mercy of my environment and that all the information that's coming in is making me spin, the antidote is realizing like, I'm actually stable because I choose to be. I'm stable because I choose to be. I'm in my own energy because I choose to be. I no longer need to stay in a chaotic, uncontrolled state to keep myself from seeing this or to keep other people away from me. Like sometimes we stay in chaos because we don't have the ability to simply say something like, you know, maybe you're dealing with someone, maybe you're at like Christmas and somebody's being intense and you're like, maybe they're talking about politics, right? If you felt uncomfortable or if there was too much like volatility going on, you could simply excuse yourself. You could say, you guys, like, this is not my thing. And I'm just going to excuse myself. I love you. I'll be back later, right? There's no need to say, you guys are assholes, like, or blah, blah, blah. I don't even know because I haven't practiced those thoughts in a while. It's hard for me to think of hateful thoughts. That's the truth. Because I realize like, I don't need to hate anyone or to push anyone away in order to get what I want. I can just speak sincerely and say, this doesn't work for me right now. I'll be back. I love you guys. Bye. So a lot of times, for example, we manipulate our environment by remaining in turbulence. Okay, we tend to want to set people up to feel how we feel. So let's say you're a person who paces around a lot, who's vaping, who feels like really tight and agitated a lot, maybe, you know, and I respect that warrior energy. Maybe that person needs to be a moving meditator. Maybe that person would benefit from martial arts. Maybe that person would benefit from, you know, primal dancing to move their energy, because that's a lot of energy. And I've worked with my own warrior energy, which I'll talk about in another video. But how could that be controlling in the environment? Well, if you feel so unsafe, right? Maybe something terrible happened to you as a child. Maybe you were like beaten or physically harmed. And so you keep this really volatile energy going. And so everybody in your environment is going to feel this like really intense, like hot, strong, like force that really feels like this kind of force of nature that doesn't feel safe for other people to be around. We're setting up other people to feel how we feel. So if you realize that and you say, wait a minute, if I'm always aggressive, right? If I'm always aggressive and tight, why am I afraid of being gentle? What part of me is afraid of being gentle? And it may be when you were at the gentlest, maybe you were a child and maybe you were severely harmed. And so of course you don't have the ability to relax into your gentleness, but now you can because you are an adult. And you have to realize that what worked as a baby and as a child does not work anymore as an adult. It's harmful. It's harmful to you, to your health, and to others. So this is a conversation, the beginning of a conversation of a very deep unpacking of how we manipulate our environment, because you can't follow the trail of the source of your lack of presence. You can't find the part of you that can't be in the present moment unless you follow the trail. So more will come to me, and depending on who tunes into my material, more will be tuned. I will receive more on your behalf. So, you know, if you have a question that you'd like me to answer, activate it within yourself, and perhaps I'll receive something for you. And maybe the next one I'll do is being the good guy. Being the good guy, or being, you know, the perfect image of a spiritual person, right? Maybe I'll do that one next. But I love you very much. This is my heart. I mean, I I've studied my own mind. I have studied my own mind, the minefield of humanity, and I have studied very intricately the ways that we avoid reality. This is all from experience, from seeing my own self. So I have no judgment whatsoever. I'm more interested in helping you be free. And I hope that my words help. So thank you for tuning in, and have a beautiful day.